Yo, how's it going, everyone out there? Welcome to the channel. This is Fandom Frequency, where we get into all sorts of topics in pop culture, whether that's movies, anime, music, comic books, you name it, we talk about it around here. Click all the buttons below the video. It really does help us out immensely around here, and all the support we've been receiving on the channel is so much appreciated. And today, I'm your host, Will, and I'm joined by a very special guest and my co-host, Steph from the Final Girlz. She has been with us here on the show before, but for those of you that are joining us for the first time and are just hearing about our first collab out of our third, welcome. And Steph, thanks for joining me again. Really, really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
For sure. And we got another fun one to get into today, guys. Not going to beat around the bush whatsoever. We're going to be talking about Quentin Tarantino's latest film, his ninth film in his overall filmography, one of the GOATs himself. And we're talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie, and Brad Pitt in the starring
Mhm.
roles. You got Brad Pitt, of course, playing the great Cliff Booth, who is the stuntman to Leo DiCaprio's Rick Dalton play who's actually the main star of the film and is kind of feeling washed up and all that stuff. And then you got
Mhm.
Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate, who's just blowing up the box office right now with Barbie. She's about to get paid like 30, 40 mil or something like that for the film. Made a
And
billion
she's doing
dollars,
okay.
all that stuff. So she definitely is living out that Sharon Tate lifestyle for sure. Everything's coming around full circle. And this one had some controversy going into it. I remember when it was announced, on some of the touchy subject of Sharon Tate, obviously Roman Polanski, the Manson
Mhm.
murders and whatnot. But I think in retrospect, I thought Tarantino did a great job handling that material and not being really offensive or
Or
exploiting
disrespectful.
that type of stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like he really rode the line very well and kind of teased it, sort of maybe going down, but then completely swerved it in a new direction. So I don't think people will give him enough credit for actually pulling that off because it's not easy.
Yeah, I actually thought he did a really good job as far as that part goes. But can I just
Hmm.
mention one thing? If we never
Go for it.
noticed it
Jump
before
in.
in any of Tarantino movies, I was gonna say I think we all already knew that Tarantino had a foot fetish.
Yeah. 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 If you're paying attention, there's several
Now,
things,
excuse
examples.
me, I think I lost count on how many barefoot women I had.
Yeah, quite a few, definitely. It did fit the characters, but it was like, damn, he found like he always finds an excuse every
Well,
time.
yeah,
I was like,
even
oh yeah,
even Margot
hippies.
Robbie had her shoes off in the movie theater. Who takes it?
Yep.
I mean, yes, we all kick our feet up on the chair in front of us, but
Yeah. That was
I've
just the
never
foot fetish
taken
on
my
full
shoes
display.
off,
Yeah,
and
like
she
the
had
hippies,
boots
it made
on.
sense. It was, but yeah. And then what was it? Dakota Fanning like pointing with her foot, like he's over
Oh,
there
yep.
down the hall. I was like, why don't you just use your hand? I was like, freaking
Oh, or
Tarantino.
when even the girl he picked up the hitchhike, the first girl that he took him back to the ranch. I mean, she had
Yep,
her feet all pressed up against the windshield.
yep. Feet
I was
everywhere,
like,
man.
there are a lot of feet.
If you
At
had
least we didn't
played a
have
drinking
Uma
game,
Thurman trying to move her big toe.
wiggle your big toe. The context of that scene was kind of cool, though. I will say,
Well,
like she's like making herself unparalyzed.
yeah,
So it's like you may not
yeah.
pay as much attention to it the first time, but I remember after a while, I was like, God damn it, Tarantino. But it's
It's
like
like,
at the
can
same
we
time,
not focus that much on her feet?
I know for real. I was like, this isn't necessary, but I get what you're doing there. But yeah, no one's wiggling any big toes on this one. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it. I guess it's more subtle, even though it's a lot of times.
Oh,
Oddly enough,
I don't know. I didn't find it very subtle.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not trying to pay
Yeah,
attention to it. I don't know.
I
I
thought it
find the
was
feet thing kind
hilarious.
of weird, but yeah, Tarantino with the feet once again. And there's so many
Definitely.
references and so many nods to different places and some places that don't exist anymore, like some of the movie theaters that down there on Sunset and everything like that.
Yeah.
A lot of the movies and actors that he's referencing and like certain roles that DiCaprio's
Oh
character didn't
yeah.
get cast into,
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that.
It's well, I thought that it was kind of cool too that because they were on the same lot as like the Green Hornet, so we had that
Yep.
that scene with Bruce
Bruce Lee,
Lee. Although
played by
Bruce Lee
Mike
was kind
Murray.
of done dirty.
Somewhat, yeah, but it was a daydream. It wasn't
Yeah,
like it was the actual. It wasn't
true.
supposed to be the real Bruce Lee because when you saw him later, he wasn't
Sure.
getting punked out.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure.
either way, though, it's like there's no way that would happen in any world except the dream world for
Oh,
sure. It's fucking
Definitely
Bruce
not.
Lee,
Definitely not. But it was cool
fastest
listening
fighter
to
on the
him talk
planet.
about like Muhammad Ali and stuff like that and
Yep.
boxing versus the martial arts. So I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yep. And the
Yeah.
whole different like how they were both so popular at the time and just the whole different
Mhm.
ideology behind it and all that stuff and just stylistically the way that the fights are done on film even too. I think is very interesting as
Mhm.
well. So but yeah, and then all the western like film like references and culture was very very heavy in the film is and as someone that grew up watching that with like my dad and stuff like that and my grandparents growing up, you
Mhm.
know, it was kind of cool to see the way that Tarantino was able to recreate a lot of those like old school commercials and
The old
the
John
old school
Wayne type.
episode form. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like there was a show called The Rifleman that it reminded me of a lot, or like even Gunsmoke or something like that. And
But
so yeah, it was pretty cool the way he was
to
able to
watch
authentically
Bonanza.
create it. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I think you were freezing up there.
Yeah, but I do remember like Bonanza back in the day too.
Yep, exactly. I was gonna say, I'm sure you knew about it because
Mhm.
friggin' because most people my age don't even know about it. But for those who don't know, do a Google, you'll see what I'm talking about. But he was able to like recreate that stuff very well. But yeah, man, there's a
Mhm.
lot of really cool just technical aspects to the film as well. Like I love the soundtrack. Once again, Tarantino killing it in that regard with just the perfect music. I
Always.
feel like yeah, that just capsulates the
Mhm.
time frame, you know. And I feel like in a couple of his other movies, like Django, I thought he used modern music sometimes where it didn't fit. This one, he didn't use any music that felt out of place at all. It all fit
Mhm.
the time period. So, very, very cool choice. And some covers of some very popular songs, too, that a lot of people haven't heard those
Yeah.
versions of that I used to hear
Well, it
growing
was
up.
kind of
Some of them.
cool because they were covers, but then they still sounded like they had that still had that 70s,
Exactly.
60s, 70s sound to them.
Because that's when those covers came out. So I thought that was a brilliant way that he used it, as opposed to using a brand new artist doing a cover of an old song. He used a cover from a classic artist doing a classic song. So
Yeah.
I was like, so that was kind of the music nerd kind of side of it that you know that always appeals to me with Tarantino. That's one thing that I feel like always stands out to me and always draws me to his films is the way that he just infuses so much pop culture into his
Mhm.
stuff, but in an organic way where I feel like it's not distracting even though sometimes some people will say that he does meander with some of the scenes in the film, and maybe the movie
Mhm.
doesn't have to be as long as it is. And I would say that I agree to a point, but I just feel like sometimes it's fun to just kind of watch Cliff Booth like just drive around or you know just see him like just take his time and really build out the tense moment of a scene or whatever. So I don't know, man. It just
Yeah.
works for me. But I do think the film's pretty long, and I get where people are coming from. But I just love every moment of the movie. The whole movie
I
to me
had
just plays
forgotten
well.
how long the movie was because I actually saw it in the theater
Oh, okay,
when
me
it
too.
came out.
Same
Yeah,
here.
I went and saw it in the theater and I'd forgotten how long the movie was until I sat down and watched it and I'm like, wow, this movie doesn't end.
Yeah, for real. My buddy even fell asleep, and
But
he was like,
I
"What?"
still like you just said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was
Yeah,
kind of cool. I was like, it's long, but I kind of like the fact though too is that it flushed out everything. You were never confused as to what was happening at what moment
exactly,
because
exactly, and
everything was there.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
and it was just good
And
pacing.
yeah. Oh, and I did find myself actually looking up to see if there was actually rat and raccoon flavored dog food back in the day.
Oh my God, is there? Was there?
No, it was all
Oh,
fictitious. As soon as I typed in rat and raccoon dog food, it brought up Once Upon a Time in
oh, okay. So that was something he just made
Hollywood
up.
and yeah, with the Wolf's dog food
Uh,
brand
got you. Yep, yep.
for mean dogs.
That's like the cigarette brand that he made up for all of his movies and all the different
Yeah.
films.
Well, did
It's
you
like
watch
Apple
it through the
cigarettes or
end
something.
credits?
I think
Because
I always turn it off.
if you watch it through the credits, you'll see Leonardo DiCaprio actually doing the cigarette commercial.
Oh, I forgot about that this time, but I did see that back in the day when I first bought the
Yeah,
DVD. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, he does a cigarette commercial and then it continues and then it goes on to a whole Batman and Robin
Oh, snap. I forgot all
musical
about
type thing.
that, man.
Yeah, like a
Jeez.
parody.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to throw the footage of that in here for sure. I'm gonna have to revisit that when we're done with this because I forgot
Yeah.
about that this time. Damn, that's good. It's good stuff, man. But yeah, so all the Tarantino deep cuts and but yeah, man. I mean, what would you say is some of your favorite like scenes in the movie overall? Because there's plenty to choose from.
Oh, there's so many. Well, I mean, who doesn't love watching the one Manson girl getting torched?
Oh, dude, that's the best, dude. Mikey
That whole,
Madison.
that whole scene was iconic, I thought. And I was like,
Yep.
if only the Manson people had actually gone to the wrong house, what would have happened
Exactly.
in an
Exactly.
alternate universe?
That's what we just saw, you know? We just saw through the multiverse what would
Exactly.
happen in
We
this timeline.
we went to the wrong house
Yeah. And
and we
to
found out.
exactly fuck around and find out and get flamed on, man. That shit was great. That was one of the best
Yeah, I,
callbacks I've
I
ever
actually
seen.
I actually kind of like I kind of actually like the interaction between Leonardo DiCaprio and the little girl too.
Yes, that was one of my favorite sequences throughout the whole thing, just the whole pilot, everything about that from that point all the way to the end where he absolutely kills the scene and he is
Yeah,
all tearing up and
because she's
shit
all,
like that.
I got pads on. She's all, I'm used to
I,
it. I just throw myself on the ground.
I was like, that sounds accurate to a child. That sounds about right. But yeah, man, like that girl was a freaking star, man. Already, I think I
Yeah.
seen her in something else after that too. I'm trying to remember what it was, but she's
Oh
gonna be a
yeah.
star someday, man, for sure. And just completely held her own with DiCaprio, and just that whole entire sequence. DiCaprio's just killing it from a comedic level to a dramatic level, and just
Oh yeah.
balancing out the two sides of the character. Playing a character that's playing a character is just it's like there's 16 layers, you know what I mean, to what's going on there.
Whole
So
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's super cool.
I thought it was well played.
For
Very
sure,
well
man. For
played.
sure. Let's see. We already talked about the
Yeah.
Bruce Lee a little bit. That was another great moment. Let me see.
Yeah, when he throws him into the car, it's just like
Yep. So, in my defense, I did not know that was her car. Freaking Kurt
oops.
Russell, man. And that was Uma Thurman's stunt double on Kill Bill, actually, the lady that was yelling at him.
Oh really?
Yeah,
The
Zoe
girl that plays
Bell.
the wife?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh, I
Zoe
didn't
Bell.
know
She was in
that.
Death Proof as well. She was one of the main girls in
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
So another
I have seen
Tarantino
that one too.
alum.
It's just been a long time since I've seen those ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool. You know, you got Kurt Russell up in there right there.
Yeah. It's been a really long time since I've watched that one.
Yeah, I feel like that one's a little underrated. I do dig that one a lot. Not necessarily one of my
Yeah.
favorites from him, but it's really good. If you're in the mood for something a little more like I don't know, not gory, but what I was gonna say, a little more in your face,
Yeah.
a little more laid back. It's pretty cool movie. Not too long either. It's like an hour and a half or something like that. Hour 40 minutes.
For sure.
But yeah, what was the other moment I was about to bring up too? Oh yeah, when Cliff goes to the ranch and everything, and he visits the guy Rick and or the guy at Spawn Ranch and everything, and he meets all the different hippies and all the people a part of the
Yeah.
Manson commune and all that. I just love that whole sequence. Feels like almost like a horror or like a thriller, just for that whole
Yeah.
like
And you're
15
just like
minutes or
wondering
whatever.
the whole time. I actually thought he was going to get the shit beat out of him at that point,
Me
especially
too.
when he came out of George's trailer.
Yeah, George. That's what I was trying to
Yeah.
say. I mixed up the names. But yeah, man, like that whole thing had me like on the edge of my seat the first time I see it in theaters. I was like, oh man, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna get killed right now? Like, is Tarantino about to swerve this thing and kill Brad Pitt? Like
Exactly.
before we even get to the third act, but obviously doesn't happen. But so well done.
Yeah.
And seeing Dakota Fanning was a big surprise for me. Remember
Yeah.
seeing her in movies hella young, so
Because the last time we saw her, she was little.
yep. And she held her own, man. She came through and killed it and had a great
Yeah.
moment in the movie. So that was pretty cool. And Austin Butler of Elvis fame nowadays coming in as Tex Watson. Not the most liked
Hmm.
historical individual out there, but his performance, thumbs up, man. I thought he
Oh,
was
he did a
really good in the
fantastic
movie.
job with that.
Very, very
And I
good.
love the ending too, where he's like, when he's like, yeah, I'm the devil. And he's like,
I'm here to do the
no,
devil's
your name
job or
wasn't that
something.
cool.
Yeah, it was
What
something
was
dumber.
it, Rex?
Yeah, Tex. That's what it was. He's a dog just freaking mauls him,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was pretty funny too when Francesca, the new wife,
Oh yeah,
told
yeah.
Dakota Fanning, and then as soon as she gets back up and comes at her with the knife again, she jumps and screams and runs off.
Yep. She was like, "Fuck that, I'm done." She was like,
She's
"That's all
like,
I
all
got."
right.
Oh man, but that whole
She'll
like
get the
entire sequence, man, so
fuck
balls to the wall. Freaking DiCaprio's just jamming back there, listening to Red Baron or some shit the whole time. Which to me, when I think about it, always makes me laugh. I'm like, this whole thing is going down. He has no clue whatsoever.
out. No idea. No
Freaking
idea. Oh yeah, he
Manson
has
cults
headphones
in his
in
house.
and
Yeah,
just
that.
chilling.
Yep. and just that
Chilling
whole
with
way
his
that it was gonna.
margarita.
Exactly. And I thought the whole time that, oh man, what did they wipe them out and then go to the Manson house? I was like, is it really going to get that dark right now?
Yeah.
You know, I was like, where's this going to go? Like the first time you see it, you're not sure what's about to happen, but it's just straight up
Mhm.
Inglorious Bastards style, which we all should have seen coming. He was just able to completely subvert your expectations and give you something that you
Heck
wanted
yeah.
to see that also doesn't step on history and make it feel disrespectful to anything that actually happened. In fact, it's more like
Exactly.
we wish this would have happened or whatever the case is. So I just thought that was just so cool without feeling forced either, without feeling like he was
Mhm.
trying to do a certain thing with the
Trying
movie
too
or
hard.
had, yeah, like it didn't have an agenda. The movie was just the movie. And I think that's very
Well,
refreshing these
thought
days, you know.
what I thought was funny is I was dating somebody at the time when the movie came out in theaters, and so we went and saw it in the theater, and I was shocked because I had to explain the whole Manson
Oh,
murders to
right.
him.
Right, because I don't know every
I
detail,
was
but I
like,
know the big details about it and essentially what happened and whatnot. You know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know Manson's whole history, but I know he was in Hollywood. He was a musician. I know certain
Well, yeah, he
things.
was a
You know,
musician. He had done stuff with the Beach Boys, and then was
yep,
mad because they didn't want to bring him as part of the
the
the band.
band officially, right? He just played and like wrote songs
It,
with them,
exactly,
which is
and
nuts.
I'm not sure if because I don't know the Beach Boys' names. I don't know any of the guys' names. So I'm
Me
wondering, I
neither.
think it may have been one of them that actually owned the house that
Oh,
the
right,
Polanski's
that he
moved.
was name dropping.
That
You might be right.
yeah. And so he was pissed off. And so it was like one of those things where
Hmm.
basically the Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski moved into this house after this guy had moved out. And so basically, and Polanski was out of the country at the time when it happened.
I'm trying to remember what movie he
And
was making because I looked that up when this movie came out. I'm trying to remember.
yeah,
What
yeah, because
movie
he was
was
out of the
he
country
making?
when it happened, and
Yeah,
so she actually had a few people over and was very pregnant, and they slaughtered. It was
yeah,
brutal. It was
I
really,
know.
really brutal.
It's
So yeah,
terrible, dude. But it's just like, and it's crazy too how we kind of seen him real quick in the film here, and he's just in and out, you know. And I was like, because I was wondering the whole time if he
mhm,
was gonna be in the movie, and I was like, oh damn, I guess he's gonna be in here, but didn't have him as like a main character in it, which I think was a smart
mhm,
call. Because I think that just would have been way too polarizing in today's climate
exactly.
to try to do it. You know, if this was back in the '90s, I think we would
Yeah,
have had
because
a much
Polanski's
different
a piece
movie.
of shit too.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. Like I don't even want to get into that, but you
Yeah,
know, for those that don't know, do your research. But I completely agree with you. You know, the films
yeah,
stand for their own thing. You know, I don't love all his work, but it all is important. It's well done. You can't take it away from him. But just as a dude, not a fan.
not a
But
good
yeah,
dude.
dude,
Not a good.
yeah, not at all. Like people want to talk shit on Tarantino. I'm like, we ain't like that. At least you know what I mean. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe he's not the coolest person in the world, maybe he does certain things you don't like, but at the same time, it's like, trust me, the people he's writing
He's not a
about are much
Polanski. He's
worse.
not a Weinstein. He's not.
No, not at
No.
all. They bankrolled the films, and that was the end of the story. And if anything else ever comes out about it, we'll all know. But things pan out the way they should have. But Polanski, Polanski, Manson, Tex Watson, the way that all these characters have really played such a crazy part in real life history and true crime and whatnot.
Mhm.
And the way that he was able to infuse that in here, I thought was really interesting. Really well cast and all that stuff. Felt very
Yeah.
authentic to the characters without making them caricatures or whatever. So just
Yeah,
really cool stuff.
definitely.
There is one thing I do want to actually criticize about the movie that I'm not as big of a fan of, though. I would say I do feel like Margot Robbie doesn't really get much to do in here as Sharon Tate.
Well, well, I
Not
don't
that she
think
had to
Sharon
be
Tate was
as big
supposed to
in the
be
movie,
a
but
character though either.
no. But I just felt like with someone like Margot Robbie, you just didn't get like these super memorable
Enough of
moments
her.
with her. You know what I mean? Like you almost forget she's in the movie sometimes. Like
Yeah.
Margot Robbie herself, where I feel like it almost could have been any actress that just looked like Sharon Tate to me personally,
Hmm.
where it felt like DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, they had to be those characters.
Oh yeah,
And
for sure.
every other person felt like that. Even Pacino, it felt like, oh yeah, like Pacino was perfect for that. He didn't have a lot to do, but he was very memorable in the movie.
Yeah.
And same thing with Timothy Oliphant coming in doing his Deadwood, and all that stuff. I thought Kurt Russell came in and was very much memorable. Zoe Bell had one scene and was more memorable to me than Margot
Hmm.
Robbie in the whole movie. So I just feel like just what
Yeah.
he wrote for her to do wasn't as memorable, really. Even Roman Polanski or Manson, I felt like could have had these more standout moments that they were like, oh wait, who's this guy? Because Manson almost didn't even seem interesting to me if you
You only
didn't
saw
know the
Manson when he
story,
approached
right?
the house the one time.
Yeah, but he didn't like, I don't know, like there was nothing intriguing about him. I felt like for that guy that you went with, or that person you went with or whatever, like they probably felt maybe similar to me in a sense to where they didn't even feel like that was a big deal, like who came to visit, because it didn't seem
Hmm.
like it the way you did it in the movie. But because you know who it is, you're like, oh shit, it's Manson. But
Yeah.
it almost just seemed like some random hippie guy. It just
Yeah,
didn't. I don't know. I just
exactly.
felt like there was ways.
But he may have
I don't know.
also been trying to tread that line
That's
of
exactly what it was. Yeah.
how
So
far do I push
yeah.
this without being disrespectful
Exactly. Like I guess
too.
Hitler was much easier to do in Inglorious Bastards because nobody cares. Where
Yeah.
and Django's not a real life person as far as I don't think. So
Mhm.
it was easier to do those subjects about real life world events where you're not necessarily tackling the tragic event much closer to our time with the people involved on a more intimate level. So I
Yeah.
guess I see where you're coming from, but I don't know, man. I just feel like Margot Robbie in every other movie I see her in, I remember her very much like sticking out in it, minus
Yeah.
Barbie because I haven't seen that. But even that movie, it seems like she's really good
You
in the movie.
know,
It seems like I could
it
see
was
people.
okay.
I feel you, but it does seem like that's going to be a part that people remember her for doing. It does seem like it's going to be something that people are fans of. So I don't know. I just feel like this movie's going to be very forgotten in her career overall as time goes on, and
Yeah.
I feel like the same thing for just Tarantino's characters. Hitler, like you remember that version of Hitler in the movie.
Oh yeah,
And he very much
for
stuck
sure.
out. And like I said, I think it's easier to do that because he's a person everyone universally hates essentially.
Everybody
It-
hates Hitler.
yeah, minus neo Nazis, but who cares about that? But minus that small group,
That's
no
okay.
one
We
really
all hate
likes him.
neo-Nazis too.
Exactly. Freaking dead Kennedys, Nazi punks, fuck off, man. Like, so
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. So like, much easier to do, but I just feel like every time I watch the movie, it's like, man, I just feel like Margot Robbie should just be like more of a big deal in the movie. And
She was a beautiful Sharon Tate though.
oh, she don't have to tell me that twice, man. It's freaking Margot Robbie, man. Like, freaking if
Yeah.
GQ did
Well,
sexiest women of all
well, when
time,
you
she better get the
because of
thing.
your comment right there, if you do sit down and watch the Barbie movie, there's this part there that you'll
Who knows? I may eventually, because it does seem like
yeah,
it's
I was gonna
becoming a
say, well,
phenomenon at this
there's a
point.
narrator part that sounded almost just like you at that moment
See, there you go. See,
in Barbie.
Barbie, they get it. They freaking get it. I'm trying to see. Was there anything else I didn't bring up that I was looking to bring up? Oh yeah, Rick yelling at the hippies, man. I thought that was actually a really good scene
Oh
too.
yeah, when he's all out there with his blender of
Margaritas.
margarita blender.
Yeah. What the fuck you hippies doing out here? Pulling off his best,
Yeah.
pulling a straight Karen on these guys. Fuck
Well, I
around
thought
up
it was
here again.
great.
Call the cops. What are you doing, Dennis Hopper? Pull this piece of shit out of here. I was like, God damn, dude.
If you come back up here again, at least fix your muffler.
Yeah, exactly. At least fix your muffler. I was like, oh my God, man. This guy is just going ham on
He
these
went
guys right now.
off.
I was like, see, you brought this on yourself. No. But it's just like, geez,
Exactly.
man. And then you had what's her face? Maya Hawk was like, fuck this shit, dude. I forgot my knife in the car. Can I see the keys real
Oh
quick?
yeah, she's like out.
Deuces, dude. I'm not down for this. I was like, hell yeah, see, there you go. And I was like,
Yeah,
that just
she was
leaves them
smart.
exactly. That just leaves them to get killed off. Because I was like, oh no, I don't want to see Maya Hawk get killed off. Because I
Yeah.
like Maya Hawk from
Wasn't the
Stranger
other
Things and all
girl though
that.
the girl that got torched? Hasn't she been in any in other
Yes,
Tarantino
ma'am.
movies too?
Not Tarantino, but she was in Scream 5.
That's who it
I
is.
won't
Yeah,
say
yeah, yeah,
who.
yeah, yeah.
I won't say who
Shit. Oh
just for
no, I know
spoilers.
exactly who it is. I know
Yeah. Yeah,
this
so
girl is on fire. She was on fire there too.
yes, exactly, dude. That's exactly what it was all about. That's what Alicia Keys wrote the
Wow.
song about this whole time. Uh, confirmed.
uh,
No.
one of our final girls have actually made a meme on her thing with that part where at the end of Scream 5 where she's on fire with
Yep.
the Alicia Keys thing going on in the
Again,
theater.
dude. Mikey Madison's always getting lit on fire, man. What's going on? Human
She's
Torch,
hot,
Marvel. There you go.
right?
Friggin' oh my gosh, just light the internet on fire. Pun intended. But
Sure, next person that hires her on for a role. Am I getting lit on fire in this one
again,
too?
unfortunately, yes. Damn it.
Can we stay away from the pyrotechnics, please?
I know, huh? She's like, that's gonna be in her contract now. I will not play characters who are
Right?
lit on fire ever again. It's becoming a meme at this point. But yeah, man. And speaking of Mikey Madison, though, she was really good in the movie. And I
Yeah.
heard some people compare this performance to her performance in Scream 5, which I do get to a degree. But this one to me
Yeah.
still felt different because it felt like this one she was more in like the hippie kind of vibe, where the other one just felt like
Oh,
she was just crazy, but much
oh
more
yeah.
like
Yeah.
aware of what she was doing. This version of her in this, Once Upon a Time, felt like she was just out of her mind, been frying her brain too much or too many tabs,
Yeah.
like going way too heavy with the LSD or whatever.
With the
But
acid, the
yeah,
LSD.
yeah, exactly. Where Tex Watson, he seemed crazy, but he still seemed like he was aware of where he was at. Her ass, she didn't know
Yeah.
where she was, dude. That's why she was living through all that shit she was going through. She was like on that. She was like PCP'd up, man. You couldn't put her down. Uh,
I did love the part too when like during that whole scene when speaking of LSD and acid, because remember Cliff Booth smoked that acid laced
yes, that was the
acid
other
dipped
thing I forgot
cigarette.
to bring up.
And
Thank
so
you.
when Tex is there with the gun and then he puts his fingers out, he's like, "Are you really here? Are you really?
Are you real?
Are you real?
I'm as
As
real as a
real as a
donut,
donut."
motherfucker. You,
Oh, and then the
I was like a
can of
donut.
dog food to the face.
I was like, yes, score. I was like, that was perfect thinking right there. That was good stuff.
Nothing like using dog food as a weapon.
Exactly. Sometimes you got to keep it simple, and that's
I'm telling
another.
you. Well,
That's
that's
some
what
of
I
the
keep
brilliance
saying.
of
Like in
Tarantino.
these horror movies, these girls need to take off their high heels and throw it in somebody's eyeball. You know?
Oh my gosh, Jurassic World. Anybody?
Oh
Yeah,
God.
that was.
I was so speaking of that movie there, I had such a hard time keeping up with the movie because I was so distracted by her wearing her heels throughout that entire
I'm like,
movie.
even
I'm like,
I
they are
was.
not
Every
that
time she would
comfortable.
come
I
up,
don't care
I'm
who
like
makes
this.
them.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys, come on.
And not only that, she was running through like mud and water and stuff like that too, and those heels never
They would
came
have
off.
broke. It just she just would. They wouldn't have been there, dude. Like,
No. Oh no.
God.
Not at all.
I'm
I
like,
would have been
jeez,
barefoot.
guys. Laura Dern had like fucking like sneakers on or something, whatever the hell she had on those things, like mountain climbing shoes or something. It's like, come on, dude. Like, geez, even the girl
Yeah.
doing gymnastics in the second movie wasn't wearing heels in it. I'll take
Heels.
gymnastics over heels. Because,
Well, they were some
gosh,
Pradas. I guess it was good advertisement for some Prada. Pradas are so
product
comfortable you
placement,
can run
dude.
from dinosaurs in them.
It's like Transformers and all that. Product placement ruins movies sometimes. You know that? Ah,
It
God,
sure does.
it's so crazy. That's the good thing about this movie. There's none of that in there. Tarantino makes up his
At
own
all.
brands.
They're all barefooted.
Exactly. No shoe sponsors here. No worry about heels. They can run away from whatever they want. Don't you worry about it. But
It's okay. Dirty feet are the rage right now. It's
yeah,
all good.
exactly. Exactly. Heels are equal. Equal opportunity for heels. But yeah, man, like there's just so much fun stuff to be had with the movie. But yeah, man, I think overall, in Tarantino's filmography, I think it's definitely up there.
Oh
Where
my
would you
gosh.
rank it in your list if you had to like just that one movie? You don't have to like say the whole list of movies.
Wait, what was that? Hold on. I'm
Oh,
gonna
no
let my
worries.
cat out of the room real quick.
Oh yeah, go for it. Do your thing.
Hold on.
Yeah, yep, no worries. But yeah, so I'm gonna vamp here while we're doing this, so that way I can edit around this later.
All right.
But yeah,
I'm
but
back.
what was my question? Yeah, so my question
I'm sorry. I was
was,
so distracted because she was yelling in here. I'm like, let me let her out.
let me out. But what's it called? I was saying in Tarantino's filmography, where would this particular one rank for you? Like fifth or third,
Oh, you
last?
know, well, first of my first ones, they're always going to be Kill Bill.
Ah, okay. I'm
My
always
first ones are
torn
always going to
between
be Kill
that and Pulp
Bill,
Fiction.
Pulp Fiction's a close up there. I don't know. This one's pretty high though. I like this one a lot. This
Yeah, this one's
one,
really good, man. I mean, I think
it's
for
hard to rank his
me,
movies. His movies are so good.
I
I
know
mean,
they're just all damn near perfect, if not perfect. Uh,
yeah,
I'd probably put it around like 5 or 6,
yeah. I'm probably really
because
close in there
yeah, because you're never gonna beat Kill Bill
because
or
I'll
Pulp
watch
Fiction.
almost everything he does.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen everything the guy's ever directed, seen most of everything he's ever written. So I'm a huge Tarantino fan.
Mhm.
Obviously, got the shirt right here. You know what I mean?
You got it
What's that
on.
red? Oh
You
yeah,
represent.
Oren Ishii right there. And you got the bride and all that stuff. Arrivederci.
Nice.
on my right. But let me see. But yeah, man. So yeah, I'll probably put it like 5 or 6. And let us know in the comments too where you're gonna rank Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in his overall filmography. He does have one more movie coming out supposedly.
Oh, for real?
Something called The Critic or something like that. It's supposed to be about a movie critic. That's gonna be his next thing. That's all we really
Okay.
know about it. No release date or anything like that, especially with all the strikes
Yeah.
going on.
I was gonna say with the strikes and
Everything's
everything, probably
delayed.
going to be a little bit.
Yeah. So I would say, within the next 2 to 3 years, we'll see what happens with Tarantino's potentially final film. But what's a genre you would have liked to seen him do before he quit? I would have loved to seen him just do a straight up horror film,
I
like
was
no
about to
comedy
say
or
that.
anything. Like
I
I
was
would
about to
love
say
that.
that.
Yeah.
Full on horror. Because I think he could pull it off.
Fuck yeah, dude. He's a horror
Easy.
fan like through and through. He's one of the main people that were talking about Black Christmas in the 90s and shit like that. Like
Hmm.
that guy is a horror fan
Well,
through and through.
I actually met the makers of Black Christmas.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, at Midsummer Scream.
What was that?
We met like I don't remember,
I
just
forgot the
just
name of the
about a
director.
month ago.
Damn, that's so
And yeah,
cool.
he was actually talking about how he was actually partially responsible of Tarantino making like his first movie.
Oh wow, that's
So
really
it's like,
sick. Damn, so there you go. There's
yeah,
like the deep connections, man. It's all
I
full
haven't seen
circle,
Black
yo.
Christmas yet though, but
Oh
yeah.
man, I'm not gonna say anything, but you're in for a treat. I'm not a fan of the
Okay.
remakes personally, but the original to
Well, I know
me,
that
whew,
they've come up in our suggestions quite a bit, especially for holiday films. So who knows? It could happen.
yeah,
We'll have
you
to
you
find out what
gotta
our
do it,
producer gods
man.
have in store for us over there, as we call them.
I feel you. But yeah, you got to throw that in there. That's a high recommendation. It'll do very well on the channel. I feel like
Yeah,
Black Christmas is very popular. Yeah. And you'll see a
yeah.
lot of those
Like,
Halloween
and we have
influences too.
us girls have no idea what we're watching
Oh man, you're gonna get
anytime.
creeped out, dude. You're gonna get creeped out. And I feel like since it is since with being a group of women and everything like that, and the subject of the film and what the character's going through, I think it's gonna be even more riveting and stuff like that, and more of like a character driven kind of thing. So that original is
Yeah.
really really cool, man. A very underrated film. I'm glad it's really popular now, but I wish it really would have got the credit it deserved back in the day. Because to me, one of the best horror films ever made. Like in my personal
Oh,
opinion.
really?
In my
Okay.
personal opinion, yeah. Like I really do love
Well,
that
then
movie.
hopefully, who
But
knows? Hopefully, maybe this year.
yeah, for sure. Like whenever
It
you
could
get to it,
happen.
it's gonna creep you out. I know whenever it happens, I'm tuning in first thing because that's
I'm
a
scared.
really really good one. But it's not like like overbearing though. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
Like there's some humor mixed in there. Like it's perfect. Like it gets real scary and then it builds its time to it. But I don't
Yeah.
know. It's good stuff. One thing I will spoil: John Saxon, the great John Saxon, is in the film and a really good part. But that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. And there's another big
Oh,
person in there. There's another
hopefully
big
our
person
producer
too.
gods will bring that one up then.
Oh, they have
But
to.
yeah,
They,
no, I
they
would love to
definitely will.
see Tarantino do a real full on, because I think he would have done like an Evil Dead or something like that, like really good.
Oh, for
Hell
sure.
yeah.
Or
Hell yeah,
even
because he's
something
got
like The
the
Hitcher or something
comedy
like that.
chops, he's got the everything else. I think,
Like if
yeah.
you had to pick one horror franchise, would that be yours for Tarantino?
Oh,
Evil
hell
Dead.
yeah.
I
Evil
like it. I
Dead.
like it. You know what I
Yeah.
would go with actually? Surprisingly enough, I'm gonna go with Friday the 13th.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
That
Imagine
would be
like
interesting too.
characters with really awesome dialogue, like almost like Death Proof mixed with like a Pulp Fiction kind of vibe, with Jason coming through, like straight killing fools or something. I don't know. I feel like Friday the
Yeah.
13th sounds
Oh no,
cool.
he could probably even do like a Stephen King type thing, because if you think of Death Proof, if he was to turn around and redo Christine,
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
ooh,
You taking notes,
yeah, or
Tarantino?
Cujo
I
or
know you're
anything like
catching this
that.
up.
Ooh, The
Oh man,
Shining.
The Shining.
Although
That would be
Kubrick did a
crazy.
great, although Kubrick did a great job with The Shining. So
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one.
no,
Nah, great acting,
I
but
just like
other
Jack
than that,
Nicholson.
yeah, same here. I'm like, a little
Yeah,
overrated in my opinion.
yeah.
Not a big Kubrick fan in general, to be honest.
Oh,
But
okay.
so hot take of the show right there. So let me know give me all your hate comments down
So
below,
so
all
we're
the
not
Kubrick
gonna do
stands.
Clockwork Orange. We're not,
Probably not. No.
no.
You'd have to do what you did to the character in the film to make me probably watch that whole movie. No, thanks. But yeah, man. So I think that pretty much is gonna do it. For Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We appreciate each and every one of you for checking this out. You know, sticking through to the end and everything like that. And we're gonna have more collabs between us two coming down the line. You know, get into some straight up horror flicks and all different types of genres because we
Oh
talk about
yeah,
it all around here. And let us know if you want to see any other Tarantino films. You know, whatever ones that might be. Let us know in the comment section below, and let us know your favorite scenes and when you first heard about, all the real life subjects behind the film, things like that. And if you agree with me, do you think Margot Robbie was wasted in the film a little bit? Do you think that it was perfectly fine? You didn't really care? Let us know all your thoughts down below and check out the Final Girls on YouTube. Their channel has been growing so much lately, and they're hitting all their goals over there. So we want to continue showing some support for them as well. And all of their fans a lot of their fans have been checking out our videos as well since we've been working together. So thank you,
yes.
Final Girl fans and supporters out there, for coming over here to Phantom Frequency. And we're just gonna keep building up the community here, and it's always an open door. So come on down anytime y'all want, and we'll be sending people over to do the same for all you ladies over there. So
Thank you so much. It's so appreciated.
of course, just trying to always support creators that are just good people trying to make it work, and that's what it's about around here. So we're always down to support that. And that's pretty much it for today's video. Make sure y'all stay tuned. Don't sleep on anything we got going on the channel. Ahsoka, Blue Beetle, lots of cool stuff coming down the pipe this week. So see you again real soon. Much love. Peace out.